everybody, and welcome back to Life as a Law Student. Today we're talking about something that I've wanted to for quite a while and I've been getting some questions about, especially given my recent experience in Moot Court. I'm talking about advocacy programs. Those include things like mock trial, moot court, speech, debate. There are probably others, maybe like Model UN, but I'm really not familiar with anything else, so I'm just going to talk about the ones that I've participated in to some extent or another, either through competing or judging, and kind of think about how they might help you prepare for law school, if they might be something you'd like to do, and the differences between all of them. This is going to be a very information-heavy video. Buckle up, I hope you find it helpful. Let's start with mock trial. In case you're not familiar, mock trial is essentially where students, either in high school, college, or law school, put together a fake trial as part of a competition. Students play all the roles, from attorneys to witnesses, even bailiffs, and then people come in to act as judges, both as presiding judges who rule on objections and scoring judges who simply give the competitors feedback on their performances. Students who act as attorneys make cross and direct examinations, opening and closing statements, objections, the whole shebang. Students who play witnesses memorize information in what's called an affidavit, or a statement of everything that they know about the case. They can be judged on their performance during their direct examination, which is usually more friendly and it's the person who's on your team, and cross-examination, which is done by a student attorney on the other team. It's awesome when real-life judges and attorneys can come in to serve as judges for these competitions, but sometimes, and usually more often just because of lack of availability, people like me who are either law students or are involved with mock trial in some other capacity also can serve as judges. In mock trial, you generally do a few scrimmages against maybe another team from your school or somebody else before you go into the various competitions where you can win awards for, overall your team wins, or individually as the best performing attorney or witness. Also, as part of practice, you work with coaches and your other teammates to develop a strategy, a theme for your case, figure out what evidence you're going to bring in and talk about and which you're not. I did mock trial for 5 years, 3 in high school and 2 in college. It was a really important part of my life for that amount of time and really helped me decide that I wanted to be a prosecutor. It also really helped hone my public speaking skills, my ability to work on a team, my understanding of the rules of evidence. That was a huge help in my class last semester. It was a really big time commitment, I'm not going to lie, but I made a lot of friends, I got to travel a lot, and for the most part it was really fun. I would say that I feel more prepared for my future career as a result of participating in mock trial. And it's important to note that even if you're not sure that you want to go to law school, mock trial might still be a good fit for you because it's a lot of theatrics in addition to a little bit of legal stuff. Moot court, on the other hand, is a lot less about theatrics and a lot more about the legal know-how. This is an activity that I've become very familiar with over the last couple months. Moot court is a 2-part competition. First, you and your 1 or 2 teammates will work together to write a brief over the course of several weeks. If you don't know what a legal brief is, you can check out this video. After that, it becomes a lot more fun and you spend a lot of time in practice going over a part memorized, part spontaneous oral argument. It's part memorized because you have these 15 minutes that you have to be able to fill with substantive legal arguments, but you also might be interrupted the entire time with questions from the judges that may or may not tie directly into what you had previously prepared. So you have to be ready for both and for a mixture, either totally memorized, totally spontaneous, or somewhere in between. It definitely keeps you on your toes, and that's one of the reasons that I wanted to do moot court, because mock trial, I felt like, really helped me prepare for when I could expect exactly what was going to happen. When I knew which witnesses were going to be called, I could write all of my questions, I could script out my opening statement. It is not like that in moot court. It's much more about doing a lot of prep work ahead of time, so you have all of these resources in your mind bank that you can call on to answer some really challenging questions. Those questions might be challenging because the judge is trying to trick you or test you to see if you know the right answer, but the best way to think about moot court is more like a conversation with the judging panel. So when they ask you a question, treat it like an opportunity to have a conversation and guide them to the right result, which is the side you're arguing for. Speaking of which, in moot court, there are obviously two sides and then there are two issues. So you'll probably be assigned one of those issues and argue for either one side or both. I did both for what was my competition's issue 2, which was about a student's First Amendment rights in tension with a school's interest. There's actually a case before the Supreme Court right now that is exactly about this issue, which I'm pretty sure is why it became our moot court problem. But either way, the point is that you have to be able to support whatever argument you're making at a particular moment, and if you're making more than one, you have to be able to switch over pretty quick in the span of 20 minutes. So for the first round, I might be arguing on behalf of the student, but 20 minutes later, I've got to be able to make just as good of an argument for those 15 minutes for the school. The timeline for moot court might vary depending on what school you're at and how many competitions they have you go to, but for my school, it was just one competition, and it was the span of 2.5 months. The first half writing the brief and the second half working on oral argument. So it was a lot in that short amount of time, but the rest of the season I'm free. So do with that information what you will. One last thing to consider is that even though you are on a team, this felt much less collaborative to me than mock trial did. So if you're down for lots of solo work, if that's your thing, maybe moot court is for you. If not so much, try out mock trial or maybe one of these things that we are going to talk about next. Now, I have made quite a few speeches in my life, even some as part of a competition, but I never formally competed in the national speech program. I did want to include speech and debate though, because I have some familiarity with them, having served as a judge for both of those competitions, and I know that these programs also tend to attract the same type of people who end up in law school. But because I never actually competed in them, I reached out to my 2 moot court teammates to see what their experience had been when they participated. Thank you guys so much for sending in literally pages of answers. I'm sorry that I have to condense them so much, but if any of you guys viewers want to know more about these programs, I literally have so much more information I can send your way. So just reach out either through the comments below, messaging me on Instagram, or sending me an email, and I'll be happy to send over all the extra stuff that I couldn't get into today. So let's start with speech. My friend Laurel competed in speech when she was in high school, and she said that she would absolutely recommend it. Speech helped her become a confident public speaker, an effective researcher, and a persuasive writer. She also mentioned that it helped her practice putting together a professional appearance at a young age, which is obviously something you're going to have to do a lot in law school and in a legal career. She performed in the original oratory category, and I guess there are literally dozens of types of categories, some of which are more suited to, preparing for law school, I guess, than others. Some are really theatrical, some you have a partner, but the one that she talked about was original oratory, which she said really helped her prepare for law school. The same kind of skills are involved, and it was a solo act. From her description, her school's practice seemed pretty low-key, where you just gave your speech in front of your teammate and coaches and got feedback on how to improve it. But the competitions might involve you giving that same speech 6 to 8 times a day, depending on how you do. So it seems like it's just as rigorous for competition as any of these other things, but maybe if you're looking for a little less time in practice, speech might be an option. Laurel said that speech fostered a lot of personal confidence for her. She didn't think she was that good at public speaking until she actually competed and started getting all of this praise from her coaches and judges and teammates. And let me tell you, Laurel is a fantastic public speaker. So if this helped even someone like her, I can't imagine how much it would boost the confidence of someone who is less innately talented like me. She also said that it helped her self-awareness in the sense that she would go back and watch videos of herself giving the speech to kind of get an idea of how she was communicating, how she was coming off, and this is still something that she did today for Moot Court. She is a better competitor than me. I can barely stand to watch myself while I edit these videos, especially on days like today where it is clearly my voice is a little froggy. I'm not really sure why. It hasn't totally woken up yet. But anyway, back to Laurel. I asked if there was anything else that she wanted me to tell you guys, and I will do so in her censored words. Speech team can be hyper competitive, but good sportsmanship and civility are so incredibly important. And that's true in the legal career as well. If you want to follow that career path, make sure that you don't become a butthole lawyer by learning to be a good person and treat your competitors with respect. For debate, I went to my friend Megan. She also did mock trial and moot court, so I really wanted to emphasize the differences and similarities that she saw between all of those programs. She also agreed with me that mock trial was much more collaborative, but that it was less analytical than moot court and debate. Debate is focused on defending your position, similar to moot court, which requires a different mental approach to both practice and competition. For both debate and moot court, unlike mock trial, you're asking questions like, are they responding to the way that you speak? Do you need to slow down so that the judges understand you? Do you need to jump ship and pick up a new argument that the judge might like better? I know you probably can tell that I'm looking down a lot. I'm looking at the notes that Megan sent me because, again, she sent me a ton and I don't want to miss anything. But I'm really going to be looking down for this next part because she gave a great explanation of what debate is. I think there are 3 different types, public forum, policy, and Lincoln Douglas. She participated in public forum, so that's what I'm gonna focus on. But again, if you want all the extra information that she sent me, just let me know. I'll be happy to send it over. But anyway, public forum has a partner, was pretty collaborative, even though she said that the people at her school were more independently motivated in competition. The competitions literally just involve you guys and another team debating a resolution or a proposition. And you have to listen to your opponent, analyze what they're saying, and respond appropriately. Overall, Megan was really glad that she participated in debate because it brought together like-minded people for her and encouraged time management, critical thinking, and obviously public speaking, all of which are incredibly important skills to have as a law student. Her last word was this: you should consider doing debate if you find public speaking, being mentally challenged, and thinking on your feet fun. If you don't enjoy these things, you probably won't enjoy debate. Debate is also what you make of it. If you don't put in the time or effort, you won't be successful and you won't develop any of the worthwhile skills. I really do need to thank again my 2 friends, Laurel and Megan, who sent me all of this great information. I probably only talked about a third of what they took out the time to write. So please share your appreciation and love for them by liking this video, shouting them out in the comments, and if you want to share appreciation for me, you can subscribe to this channel. Please know that you do not have to participate in any of these activities to succeed in law school. But if you do want an edge, competitive advantage in your public speaking skills and advocacy in general, look into programs like these and see which one might be right for you. I will see you guys next week with another video. Until then, God bless.